Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Coggins, and welcome back to the edited review of Discovery Review, Season 4, Episode 6.
Yes, stormy weather.
On Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas Eve.
Yeah, make sure you checked out our live review yesterday. If you didn't, go back and watch it because we do a full breakdown.
But we do these before we do those on these sorts of days. So this is our fresh first reaction. That's our in-depth, thought-through, scene-by-scene reactions. They're different, so go back and watch both. They're both fun. And what do you think, Stuart, of Season 6, Episode 4? The wheels are starting to turn. Things are moving forward. What do you think?
It's great. Season 4 is really delivering. This, again, felt like a very Star Trek episode. Very happy with it.
And the first Jonathan Frakes of the season. Don't know if that came through.
I didn't notice that, no. But
I caught it paused and went back. Oh, it is! Oh, sweet.
It did come through with just the way it was told and the structure. And it felt very Star Trek, like I said. So, very happy with this one. And I gotta say, called two things, which, spoilers, threats up from outside our galaxy.
Mike drop Trekyards.
Yeah, and Zora developing emotions, also a bit of a problem, which, again, we called. So, very happy about these things, and looking forward to seeing where this goes. What about you?
Yeah, no, I liked it. I think it started strong, ended strong, and dipped quite mediocrely in the middle. Not just for pacing, but I think the story just got a lot more dull. And I conceptually, they're in a void. There's only so much they can do, literally. But I think definitely, once they got in there and they started seeing the danger stuff, I think just it lost itself in the middle. But then, like I say, it re-picked itself back up at the end. Good story, felt very Voyager, felt very like reminiscent of other stories we've seen before, but that's not a bad thing. The first truly ensemble piece for the bridge crew, that was nice. They've been extras in previous episodes or missing, and here they actually felt like a crew. I wish there was a little bit more with a couple of them, but we got a real sense of them, which is nice. I do think when they explained the problem with the edge of whatever they're in, I still don't quite understand it. But once they said Great Barrier, it really got me back in, because we've been calling that from, like, before the season started. Like, extra galactical, come on. Great Barrier, come on. And that was like a yes moment. Because I was waiting, when they said the particle, I was thinking, are they going to say Mega, Chronoton, Great Barrier. So, no, I enjoyed it. Like I say, just dipped in the middle, but it's good. And yet another small step forward. It keeps being small steps. It's like, God damn.
Well, that's good, though. Small steps create,
Not rushing
a long journey. So I agree with you on the bridge crew stuff. We got something from everyone, which was great. Even Gray was good in this episode. And even Grudge didn't annoy me very much.
Yeah, I liked Saving the Cat. That was nice. That was well used. Would you agree the dip was there in the middle of quality?
No. I would not agree with you on that one. I think it was pretty good across the board. Like, they tried everything. They tried piloting through the S4 network. So they tried everything. Everybody had something to do. We got an introduction to Book's dad, which, was it him? I don't know. We're not sure. Yeah, I think that's distinct foreshadowing, though, with what he said to him about Burnham, saying she'll pick Starfleet over you every time, and it's going to come a time where you need to make a decision. That's going to happen when they find whoever created this. She's going to pick the Starfleet way of handling things. He's going to go for the revenge, and he's going to argue with her about it. She's going to pick Starfleet. It's definite foreshadowing.
It ain't subtle foreshadowing.
No, it's written on the wall pretty bluntly.
But it's good to have him do things. He's a good actor. He always improves things he's in. I mean, we like exploring, we like tech stuff, we like procedural stuff. So I was really engaged up until the point where they send the dot out and it gets killed by the edge, and then they say it's coming in closer, and they say its shields are being stretched out, which is a waste of shield power.
Shields, and then the shields are down by 20%, so they pulled the shields back.
Yeah, they push them out to the point they're only 25% effective to hit the edge of it to then be brought in, which seems wasteful. Just have them close and wait. So anyway, that was a bad plan. But then at the end, obviously, they keep pushing forward, and it does start to burn the hull, which is great. But then they also have to travel outside of it, but they've already established whatever's killing them is getting closer. So they should instantly be at the edge, because the edge has got interior. So then suddenly they have this 4 minutes to get through, but they're already at the edge now. But the edge also isn't... Is the edge is the edge the... Because I assume they were transported to another part of space. They weren't in the same place, but the tear obviously couldn't get back through the tear. But there isn't an edge of the anomaly because they're in another place. It was a and then what did they go through? Did they just break through? So that it was very unclear. And I was waiting for a shot at the end to kind of like represent something.
I think they were literally in like a subspace tear, so it had undefined edges. First of all, secondly, they couldn't just back out of it. Yeah, I can see why you'd get confused being like they're in a different place, but I think they were literally just in a subspace tear. And I love how Adira even says they're making subspace toxic. They're damaging to subspace. So that's an interesting reveal as well. So I can see where you get confused. I got confused when it started hitting deck 17 because I'm trying to picture where deck 17 is on the ship, which makes it seem like it's not a cylindrical thing that's closing in on them. It's more of a jagged edge, like a tear, and a little fragment of it started hitting.
But then, like I said, they also have to go forwards. But it's already at the ship. It's already destroying the ship.
They didn't make a point of saying that they had to realign the ship, which is, I think...
No, it was just forward or something. Yeah. I don't know. It was just a direction.
But I liked the submarine analogy with the pinging and listening for the response. Like, that was good. And that was Bryce using his his knowledge of water stuff, first wave riding, now that as well. And again, he got a lot of good lines. So
I just didn't know why there wasn't the tear behind them. They never said it closed. They never said it wasn't there. They know the edge is there because they went through it, which means if they've actually travelled somewhere else. Like, I needed them to then come out of it, say we're now 45,000 kilometers away from where we were, and then spore drive back to home. Like, I needed that scene. There was just a disconnect. It's as if they thought it through and then didn't know how to put the pieces together. And it might be clear a second time, but I normally get these things. And I thought it was a bit like, there's not a threat if it's not closing in, but then you can't have the end threat. Although I was kind of hoping. I loved seeing the thing burning. I was kind of this might lead to find the bridge being changed, because the bridge is beyond fire. I mean, it's obviously CGI fire, but I kind of wanted to see the whole thing start burning. Because I don't know why didn't Burnham beam into the ship then? Because she's dead. Like, the whole point is there isn't enough time until her suit is destroyed for them to get out. And the view screen is already cracking. There's no shields, so she's dead. Why didn't she just beam into the... Like, she didn't do anything. She was unconscious, so just beam into the pattern buffer. She didn't beam into the pattern buffer. We didn't see it.
Yeah, I assumed Zora was going to beam her in because she said that the suit was going to be compromised soon, and there's still 4 minutes to go through this.
Because I was like, yeah, you did a bit. You said as long as you could, beam into the buffer and have an epic moment where we see the ship pilot itself, and it's like it does push forward. Then you cut to now it's on the other side, and things just burn to shit. And then a Federation ship warps in, and it's like we did it. Like there was a moment it was missing. Just click all the issues together. No, that would have been perfect actually to see Zora kind of pull through, and have a lot of damage, and say that she's in pain, and then all of a sudden it fades out of like Zora's display. And into Burnham waking up would have been an awesome reveal. Yeah, like the lights turn off in the ship because it's just too much damage, and then it cuts to black. Yeah, that would have been good. Because you need to see a moment of the nacelles are all completely destroyed. Because no shields means the thing is like gone. You need to see that destruction. I feel like. Yeah, and something that would probably make a lot of people happy. We got an Enterprise and Voyager reference. So somebody did mention the Enterprise. Saru mentioned that the Enterprise had taken some readings of things like this. So you'd think he'd clarify which Enterprise, because there's a big range of what that means from 900 years, but you should have said Enterprise B, or just...
Well, at least it was mentioned, but everybody's been complaining, like, are we going to get an Enterprise reference at all? And yes, we got one, so there you go.
So I assume they meant one of the TOS episodes, the Enterprise, but then they mentioned Voyager. That's not going to be the Voyager J, is it? It's going to be the classic Voyager. Yeah.
Anyway, I got the assumption it was like the Enterprise in their time that was getting readings from like newer stuff, but who knows?
They didn't clarify, so we'll never know.
We got Dr. Pollard, who's the CMO, the Chief Medical Officer. She was actually in this. So this was a great ensemble piece. This really pulled everybody together, and everybody had the perfect amount of stuff to do. The pacing was good. Reese, kind of little underused, but at least he got a little bit. Detmer and Awashikam are back, and they were both awesome.
Although Awashikam's hair, she must have shaved her head by this point and had a wig, because it was very, very different hair to her normal style. It's like, I know that the blonde actress who's the other science officer, I guess, or spore operator, she's wearing a wig this year as well, and they've got better at hiding it. But I didn't necessarily notice, except that's weird hair. But yeah, it was good. Everyone got it, and Adira was underused, but
a little bit.
What more? Gray
was used perfectly. with even the Guardian training with the game, and how that linked with not having a body to relating to Zora and dealing with Zora's problems. Like, it all worked out really well. So Gray, I think, was spot on. I really appreciated that he was included in this episode.
I wish we had. I appreciate, because obviously he doesn't do anything on the ship, and you're not really meant to have passengers per se. So it was sort of addressed, like enough. I think my problem with those scenes is I don't really care if Zora is alive now. It's not a story I'm particularly interested in. And I do want to debate with you about, and we're going to do a video about this, about, linked to Calypso, because it kind of makes Calypso a lot more redundant. But I mean, I think they're retconning that anyway. But it's just, it's so much this episode, but I'm not really engaged by it, because you would think they would just stop that from happening, or they take the sphere data out or something, because you can't have a ship like this. It's not good and reliable, and Starfleet would certainly not be allowing this.
Well, Zora might be damaged to the point where she might not be herself after the refit, because again, we see it.
Wait, refit or refit?
Rebuilt in space docks.
Yeah,
I don't
rebuilt.
know what's going on with that? I love how Zora even said, I don't think the captain trusts me, and the captain's like, well, it's just unexplored waters right now. Like, I don't know.
Well, the last sentient AI we dealt with killed the universe. So, sorry. I'm allowed to not trust you.
Well, and the fact that Zora didn't notify them of what was outside the hull on deck 17, because Zora didn't know how to deal with it, because Zora was scared or confused, and it took Gray to tell Zora to do that. And then Gray went up to the bridge and he told them what was going on. And there's going to be problems if your ship is scared and has a self-preservation mode. It's not going to necessarily do what needs to be done for the particular mission. So, not really a great idea.
I mean, it's kind of weird they've also stopped mentioning the sphere data, because it's just the sphere data. Like, that's all this is, just more evolved in the computer. They kind of sort of pushed past that quite drastically. But yeah, Starfleet should really be concerned. Or is this something that's happened many a time?
Might have 900 years. Who knows?
I mean, I'm kind of assuming that it has happened before, because those advanced wouldn't let this thing continue.
It happened at the Enterprise D, didn't it? The Enterprise D became sentient at least once. There's a short story where the Enterprise A refit became sentient right before it self-destructed in Star Trek 3, which is a great story, by the way. And then decided it would do that, sacrifice itself to save the crew. So, I mean, it opens up a whole can of worms as far as, it's just another crew member, essentially, and it's dealing with new emotions it doesn't understand and doesn't know how to deal with it. So, that's a problem.
Yeah, it just feels like an unnecessary focus. I know you said a few episodes ago, Zora's not in it very much. Is there a major plot for that? Is there not? I don't.
I think what might happen is when here we go, try calling something else. When they find out who's behind this from another galaxy, it's going to be sentient machines, which I think
for the third time
might tie in with Voyager, or not Voyager, V'ger. A lot of people have been making that analogy, and it's like V'ger's story is it crashed on a planet of sentient machines, and they rebuilt it and sent it on its way. So the thing I'm thinking is, if Zora finds out that there are sentient machines out there, Zora might kind of side with them at a really critical point. I don't know. That's a very far-flung theory right now, but it's definitely, I think, they're setting up for something. Even the Booker and Burnham foreshadowing, and then Zora, I think it's going to all kind of converge.
Yeah, I see two possibilities that are distinct with that. Either Zora's going to sacrifice herself and Discovery to save the crew, which is very apt. It's the ultimate point, like basically with Data. The ultimate point, he had a sentient to sacrifice himself, and that destroys Discovery, and they make Discovery B for season 5. Which is, they've already done that once, so that's absolutely fine. They've redesigned it a little bit. They have new interiors. Great, and that'd be great for season 5 if there's season 5. Or she chooses to stay with the aliens.
Yeah,
that's obviously
and teach them about Starfleet and humans.
So fully downloaded. We take away the sphere data because that was a big plot. We can do everything, sort of MacGuffin. But you have a nice, showing the universe Trek fans. First sentient AI killed the universe and then went back in time and tried to kill it again. Second sentient AIs came from another part of the galaxy to try and destroy all organic life like they have done before. Third sentient AI, is a good friend. So we're trying to, give sentient AIs a good name after bad names they give them in previous seasons. So, yeah.
I think Zora's family tree that she created at the end there. I think she's gonna show these sentient machines perhaps that and go like these are good people, like they've taken care of me, I've taken care of them. I think there's going to be something that plays in there.
Well, they wouldn't give it this much time in the story unless there's going to be a big thing, because that was like an entire season's worth of development. You know what I mean? In one chunk. It's interesting, but it needs a strong payoff for me to really engage, because it's like, this is just such a can of worms, as you said. It's just, you can't just have that in every episode. Just, the computer is a friend. It's like, it doesn't really, or it should be every ship in the fleet. Yeah, what do you think of the book and not dad, book and dad stuff?
Well, yeah, the father-son dynamic. It starts out with him saying, I wouldn't put my dad's face on the family tree, that's for sure. And then get the whole explanation that he was hunting, sentient creatures because of the emerald chain. And
just like his brother did. So it's you gotta do what you gotta do.
Kind of gave him shit for not for when he was a kid thinking that transformers had feelings or souls or whatever. And I don't know. It didn't really mean much to me in the grand scheme, but I did kind of give Book a little bit of ease, I guess, by saying if you are actually my dad, it's good to know that you live on in some form. So therefore, my nephew and my brother also are living somewhere doing something. So yeah,
and on the book stuff, I knew you'd get a sense of satisfaction that within a few minutes you hear he forgave her for the guy from last week. So I told you they wouldn't dwell on that. Done. Tick. Great. Well set up. I mean, it's nice to see him have scenes, and they were certainly good. I liked the fact that by the end, even though his dad was being pretty full on, although never quite raised his tone, it was an interesting performance choice. It was more like a quiet rage rather than so it was interesting. And a great cast, like looked really good looked like kind of I bought as a dad in terms of look, which I liked, and a great costume too. But I like the fact that at the end I was expecting him, Book, to side with the dad in some way, like see Burnham as an enemy in some, or even have that earworm. But no, you got it very clearly presented. No, he's choosing one way, and then he goes and hugs her, says he loves her. Lovely set of scenes. And I'm like, okay, good. Book rose above this. Book actually made a decision, pushed for. But it felt so like cathartic and real. Maybe we'll come back to that, but I felt very strong about that. Like they did a really good job not letting that obvious.
I think it's distinct foreshadowing. There's going to be at least a moment of hesitation from Book with when Burnham will side with Starfleet for sure, because he's because even his dad said you need to be out here hunting these people. You need to do what you need to be done to avenge Kwejian, and so Book already feels guilty about that. And when it comes to the time where he can actually strike or do something or disable whatever they find, Burnham's going to say no, and Book I think might go a little off script at that point, but who knows.
But I feel like he would have done that either way. This didn't, I don't think. I mean, if it is just his brain, that's already his own brain thoughts, right? So there's nothing external. If the, you know what I mean? If there is or isn't. But I do. But then it's hard to think. It's like of course you'd pick Starfleet over him in terms of his agenda, but also they've had such a line agenda for so many times, almost a year and a half at this point. So I think it is foreshadowing. I think we might get the opposite. We might get her actually trusting him, and then some reversal on that that's surprising. That, like I said, I trust the love, because again, I give them so much credit. They have genuine actor chemistry, and given they're both married to other people, I think David is as well. Like really good, just gentle, soft chemistry. I don't think they say "I love you" almost ever. Like I think, is that the first time they said it? I think it might be. I can't remember.
No, I think it's been said once or twice before.
But it felt strong. Like they'd say it so infrequently. It was a nice moment.
Yeah.
No, they did some good character stuff. Although I will say I'm not missing Tilly. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not either.
And
I love the little Linus lines. Like, I'm just filling in for Linus on the bridge. He's got to stay under the heat lamps. Oh, poor guy.
But Linus,
who knows what that's about?
But he isn't normally on the bridge though. Like he's not a bridge officer. You see him occasionally, officer. But yeah, can't wait to do the full review with you in the past for you. Go see by scene. Go watch. And we're gonna stop this video and talk about other things. But good job discovering your great barriering away.
Guys, hit that like button, comment down below what you thought about this episode. By all means, let us know your thoughts. And if you can join us for the lives when we do them, by all means do so. Hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell icon, all that stuff so you don't miss any of them. If you do miss them, they're always worth watching on a replay, even though they were live, because we definitely have some great discussions. So go check them out.
And if you want to support us directly, then please do. all the links are down below in the description, but I'll say the Patreon is a really great way monthly. The PayPal is great, trekyards@hotmail.com. Any amount goes towards show costs, it makes a difference. Or join the channel on YouTube, again monthly like Patreon, or we love you actually super chat during the lives, because we just love that combination of discussion and support. It makes a big difference. So thanks in advance, and come back and we'll see you next time.
That's right. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.